Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Abby if you're new here, and today I want to talk about NAFTA. And NAFTA just means the North American Free Trade Agreement. A lot of you know that I actually moved to America earlier this year and I live here now. I work here as a professional. I've gotten a lot of questions just asking me how I'm able to work in America and how I'm able to move here and live here without having to leave the country every 6 months. Because when you're a Canadian or a Mexican or a national of any other Western country, Australia, UK, and you visit America, you have to leave after a certain period of time, sometimes 3 months, sometimes 6 months, but I'm able to work here and live here for an extended period of time. So I'm going to tell you all about it as we go along. If you have any questions, make sure you drop them in the comments and I answer them to the best of my ability. But remember, Google is your best friend. Google. Don't take my word as gospel because I am not Jesus. Please do your own research, as I always say. So now let's talk about NAFTA briefly though. As I mentioned, NAFTA is the North American Free Trade Agreement. It's a bilateral agreement between the United States of America, between Canada, and between Mexico. And the purpose of this agreement, the agreement came into force in 1994, and the purpose of this agreement was to remove all tariff and non-tariff barriers to trade and investment. Basically what that means is for them to remove all the taxes that apply when it comes to trade between these three countries, Mexico, Canada, and America, by virtue of proximity, because they are very close, right? Canada, America, and Mexico, they border each other, they touch each other in different places. So it makes sense to eliminate those taxes and those tariffs so people can work and trade better. And part of this agreement includes the provision of services. So it's not just trade, it also includes services, right? So this is the agreement, NAFTA. I'm going to call it NAFTA from here on. So now let's talk about why can Abby, who's a Nigerian that moved to Canada, come to America and work. As I mentioned, I became a Canadian citizen in 2020, and with Canadian citizenship you get so many, I'm like, ooh, you get so many benefits by being a Canadian citizen, and one of those is the ability to actually work and travel as a Canadian in so many other places. So by virtue of this NAFTA agreement, this treaty, I am able to come to America and work, and that's what I am on right now. So I am currently on a NAFTA visa, and I think terms here are a little bit deceptive because Canadians don't really need a NAFTA visa, but we need to get our status changed from a visitor. Mexicans need to actually apply for a NAFTA visa. So if you're Mexican and you're watching this, please do a lot more research on your part, because I know you guys have to go through a more rigorous process. It's not that bad, but you guys usually have to do more to apply for a visa. But a Canadian, it's pretty easy because when you come here, you can actually just go to the border and flagpole and get your status changed. There are about 3-4 factors that you need to consider if you're determining if you will be eligible to get work underneath NAFTA. And these factors are as follows. Number 1, you need to be a Canadian citizen, an American citizen, or a Mexican citizen. So you can have a work permit or a permanent resident or a green card. It doesn't work. You have to be a citizen either of these countries. Number 2, for you to actually be eligible underneath NAFTA, you need to fall under specific categories. So NAFTA has actually provided a long list of professions that they classify as provision of services underneath NAFTA. Not everything is there, but there's a lot there. So you can be an agricultural worker, you could be in the sciences, like, you know, a technician, a radiologist, you could be a computer systems analyst, which I am, you could be a consultant, which I am as well, you could be like a teacher. There's different categories. So I'm going to put the link right here below so you guys can go check out the link and see if your profession right now falls underneath one of these categories. So there's a long list. If your profession is not there and it's very different from what's listed there, then please, NAFTA is not for you because you will get turned down. Number 3 factor that goes to determine if you will get like a NAFTA status is that you have to have an offer of prearranged employment. NAFTA obviously allows for the provision of services, but these services have to be for companies that exist in these three countries. So to do that, you actually have to start looking for work and secure a job in either of these countries before you can even qualify for NAFTA. NAFTA doesn't work if you have a business or you're a sole proprietor. So if you want to come here and become like a business person, you can't do that underneath NAFTA. I am sure the Americans or Canadians have other categories where you could go and get an investment visa, but underneath NAFTA, you're not able to become a business person. You have to have an offer of pre-arranged employment. And the last point that I was going to make is the fact that your offer of pre-arranged employment has to be temporary in nature. NAFTA is actually limited in its term. If you have the intention of moving to any of these countries permanently, then a NAFTA visa from the onset is not going to work for you because the offer of employment needs to be temporary. So if you're on this journey to try and get like a NAFTA or TN visa, so the short form of the NAFTA visa is called a TN. If you're trying to get a TN1 visa and your offer of employment is permanent, please tell your employer to make it temporary because they would not approve that visa for you. A NAFTA visa is usually temporary in nature, and when you get the visa, subsequently you can obviously when you start living in America or living in Canada, you can always find ways to become a permanent citizen or to get a permanent stay. But if you're coming in using NAFTA and the TN pathway, you will not get it if you use an offer of permanent employment. It has to be temporary in nature. So once you have these 4 things listed and you have a checkbox next to all of them, then you can begin to apply for your NAFTA visa, which is quite easy for some. It's quite easy for some, but you guys know that when it comes to immigration matters, I need deliverance because my case always has a hitch, comma, or something. There's always some sort of things to jinx my immigration matters, and honestly, getting my NAFTA visa too wasn't straightforward, even if it is primarily a straightforward process. But I'm going to go through it because I am convinced that I have to go through hoops and ups and downs so that I'm able to come and share my experiences with you guys. So you guys, if you're not subscribed, subscribe on. If you're interested in NAFTA more, leave your comments down below and I will definitely answer it when I get there. But I am going to tell you exactly how my TN process went in a little bit. Thanks guys for watching. Bye.